aesthetic composition, a beautiful shape, some vibrant colors working off each other, a little ledge here with a shadow, synthetic shadow coming across. And then you see it start to take form, and it actually gets almost a little more of an icon, it's almost like the second ones are kind of like a logo. You know, it could be a logo for like Daytona Small Motel. So, come stay. Chamber of Commerce. Anyway, and then the third one, as you see, it becomes more in focus. This is the Saxony Motel, which is torn down now. And then the fourth one is kind of as realistic as I like to get, because otherwise we just take a photograph, and it's not my intention to do that. And then the fifth one is the breaking apart the composition of the piece, a very loose, maybe 45-minute composition, where the others take a lot longer. So that's sort of what we're talking about, dilapidation. And then putting them five together makes them irreverent form. It's almost like an altarpiece, which would actually be three, triple. But we do have 3 sets of 5, and then that's not an accident. And then with the figure pieces, there's 3 on each, which is sort of like a triptych, sort of like an altarpiece. The piece over here is a reference to my work before this exhibition, actually about a year and a half ago. But I thought it worked well because we're still talking about this same sort of desolate space. And it also, if you really wanted to get a linear narrative out of it, which is, if I'm using too much art speak, I'm sorry, I'm getting my MFA right now, and if I don't use that, I get in trouble. A linear narrative, like, if you really want a story, this is one that's totally unintentional, but this person escaped from New York because it's called Escape to Florida, to find a better place to live, and ended up living in the Saxony Motel, which was torn down, ended up living in the bus station, ended up living after that in the Lighthouse Motel, ended up reading these t-shirts up here that say Drunk 1, Drunk 2. My favorite is this one, the Major League Beer drinking hat with bottle opener. And then ended up over here, then under a park bench, and then finally with a dog living on the beach. So if you really want like a narrative that it's very elementary, but fun, for a kid's book. There you go. So that's pretty much what I have to say about this exhibition. I will say this about these images. I have a problem with, I don't just walk up to homeless people and shoot their photo, or ask them like, hey, can I shoot your photo, here's $1, because I think it's, quite exploitative. Thank you. And also, I've been very close to this in my life before I moved back here to New Smyrna. So I really don't think I would like people taking my picture when I was sleeping on the F train. So what I do is I kind of get the composition from an actual person that I see, and then I do a drawing of it, or I take a long-distance photograph of it, just so I have the form, and then I search the internet for images that are similar in a reclining form. Then I take at least 5 photos, and then I do drawings and make them into one, make a composite out of it, so it's not a clear appropriation from the internet, because I think that's a little shady to me, just because I'm a painter, and that's not good for my practice. So I do a composite of at least 5. This was actually a composite of 5. The guy under the park bench is a composite of 7, plus I made him into sort of a cruciform, and he can turn sideways or go up and down. That's a 5-color separation. This is a 4-color separation. And the man with the dog and the bird is a 3-color. And that's from 5 different images and a dog in person. The actual show of these pieces was conceived to be as all of these. It was just going to be a whole show of these photo transfers of these t-shirt shops in Daytona with the image placed on top of it. And I place it on top and sand it, scrub it down as much as I can so it kind of blends in and works in with the background as a foreground. I was amused by this because we're talking about like dilapidation of these motels, and to me, you understand, I was born in Daytona, Halifax, and I grew up right behind this motel actually. It was called the Peter Pan, which is now called the Lighthouse Inn. So just a few blocks back is where I grew up, near Orton Elementary. And I always thought these motels were beautiful. I mean, I thought it was really cool. Like, there's a Peter Pan on the sign. Like, these people are like, we'll put a lighthouse out here. That'll get them coming in. So I've always think that's really fascinating. And I've gone across the country on Route 66, and I've stayed at the new motel in Oklahoma, in Shawnee, Oklahoma, and then the next hotel is called the Newer Motel. And then another mile down the road is called the NU Motel. And then, yes, the newest motel is the fourth one. The nicest one, in case you're in Shawnee, Oklahoma, and your car breaks down, you take a tour of the Shawnee Mills, and you get a free packet of orange chip muffins, which are actually very good. Especially if you're broken down to Shawnee. But anyway, stay at the newest. As you said, it's the last one. Anyway, so I've always been fascinated. I think these things are beautiful. I think that the fact that these motels are still there are beautiful, even though the irony is that the people staying in them are really down and out. You know, it's pretty much, it's not like the Ritz-Carlton. It's $30 a night. Any of these motels, except for Saxony, and that's free because it's an empty lot now. It's $30 a night, and it's like $100 a week. So there's a lot of, and honestly, most of these motels do not have vacancy because people who have lost their homes or have moved here to find a better life in Florida and run away from their problems, but end up like this eventually, hopefully not, stay at these motels weekly for $100 a week. That's actually a pretty good deal if it has a kitchenette in it. But you have to deal with a lot of stuff, like there's a lot of drug trafficking and stuff that ends up happening in the motels. And I was going to make a video game. I thought it was kind of funny, but like in the end, it's kind of sad. And because I just designed a video game where you shoot, my panties come down and you blow them up. It's kind of but I was going to do one like Frog. Has anyone had Frogger? Remember that game, Frogger? Where you cross the traffic. I don't know if I should tell you this. This seems really inappropriate, but I'm going to do it anyway. But don't judge me. Don't judge me. So I was going to have traffic like Frogger, because I could get the codes and just make a video game of it, and have the motels across the street, and then I was going to have a drug addict try to cross the street. I didn't do it, okay? Well, maybe next show, we'll see. Anyway, from here, and I'll just say where I'm going from here, and then I'll take your questions. And those of you that have to be here for class, thank you for coming anyway, not being absent. And you can ask me questions. I know you have a sheet you have to, and you can ask me specific questions if you like, because I know I didn't cover my background that much. I usually do, but I see some familiar faces, and it gets boring after the sixth time. From here, these paintings are actually going into the next set of artwork. Is going to be more modular artwork, and will actually be 18 by 20 inch format to 20 by 24 inch. I have a show in Annapolis, Maryland in the fall, which will be the sequel to this, and there'll be plexiglass where you can actually, when you look into the motel, like let's say this piece and you're looking into the motel, there'll actually be squares here of plexiglass where you can actually see into the room. There'll be a simulated room and something happening inside. And then Luke over there and I are working to put sound in a lot of artwork. He's a sound installation artist as well as a composer, so this, he and I working together is a very natural thing for my next of artwork and hopefully for his also. But anyway, that's it. And if you have questions, I'm ready. I'm going to have some coffee.